Excellency, now let's come to the real subject, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, the CPEC. First of all, can you share the status and development on the CPEC with viewers per this program? Second, how China is supporting Pakistan and what are the challenges?
Okay, I think that this is the very major topic, and I thank you for your kind attention and interest in this cooperation between China and Pakistan. CPEC is right now the major platform of our cooperation between with Pakistan. The current status of the CPEC, I should say, it is in the status of broadening and expansion. I should say that right now, since the CPEC started in 2013, or this conception started, and the real cooperation started in 2015. So after the previous year's efforts, there are 4 major areas of the previous focus: Gwadar Port, communication and transportation, industry, as well as the power sector. I think most of the projects have been completed. By expansion or broadening of the CPEC cooperation, I should say that right now, with the guidance of your government and also with your policy of the government of Pakistan, we are going to expand our cooperation to the new areas. Right now, for example, the most tangible area of the cooperation is in the social sector. This social sector basically is community-based, people-based projects, including, for example, education, health care, and water management, poverty alleviation, and vocational training, as well as other, I think, people-to-people collaborations. And also that we are going to have some new cooperation, like in the agriculture, I think, which I will deliberate a little later on, as well as the science and technology. The area of bilateral cooperation basically is focused on these areas. However, CPEC is also a regional platform. So right now we are also trying to engage the regional countries and the regional business communities to join the CPEC or to benefit from the cooperation of the CPEC. So I think that CPEC basically is a mutually beneficial project. For the China, definitely we have more economic opportunities in Pakistan, because Pakistan is a big market and is a developing market, and we have more share of the Pakistani market. Second, for Pakistan, I think that by collaborating under the CPEC framework, you can have more opportunities, for example, for the FDI, for the capitals, for the technologies, and also for the economic activities. So right now, the focus of the CPEC, it is on the economic cooperation. What are the challenges of the CPEC for the current stage? I think that there are several aspects. First, I think is we need, because right now the CPEC has covered a lot of areas, so we may need more structured or more streamlined focuses on different areas. We have a framework of the CPEC called JCC, and we also have different, right now, 8 joint working groups. But right now the major challenge comes from this COVID-19. Because of this pandemic, we could not have face-to-face meetings and to work out more concrete plans. Although we have these online or these video conferences, however, that this pandemic also creates some problems for us to work out these structures or projects or plans in a faster way. Second challenge, I think it is also this, I should say, the change of the dynamics of the economy development of the global situation, as well as the regional. For example, that all the countries or all the governments are fighting against this COVID-19, so that a lot of challenges naturally that resources have been shifted to the other areas, so that for the economic sector, then we need more input and more focused efforts to revive these economic activities. And thirdly, I think it is also some kind of global situation. You know that China has been picked up as a major rival for the United States. So whatever China is doing, even for a mutually beneficial project, that there are a lot of propagandas or defamations against this. They say that CPEC has a kind of exploitation. CPEC is a kind of one-sided project that only benefits Chinese side, or that the CPEC has a lot of high cost and high burden for Pakistan. I think that this kind of propaganda comes from, I said, very ill-intentioned kind of designs that try to create some problems or bad names for this cooperation. But since we are conducting the CPEC cooperation with the full participation of the Pakistani government and the Pakistani society, so I believe both China and Pakistan, we are the best positioned to understand that this is a purely economic cooperation or commercial cooperation projects. Both the governments and both the peoples have the better or the best understanding of the nature of the CPEC. We want to build this stronger economy for Pakistan, and also that through this period that this regional connectivity and the regional cooperation could be also enhanced. So.
Excellency, you are absolutely right that not only the Pakistan and China, but the whole region will benefit from CPEC. But now I want to specifically talk about the MOU on agriculture under CPEC, which was signed during the visit of President of Pakistan. So there is no second opinion about the fact that agriculture is backbone of Pakistan's economy. It contributes 38.6% to labor force directly, but agriculture also faces problems of low productivity of crops, bad state of supply chain, and also the threat of climate change. So, Excellency, how China will help Pakistan to improve and modernize the agriculture and help to move towards climate smart agriculture?
I totally agree with you regarding the cooperation, the importance of cooperation in the sector of agriculture. And yes, we did sign this MOU on agriculture in this March when the President of Pakistan visited China. But even before this MOU was signed, that in the social sector cooperation, we do have agriculture sector cooperation to that. Agriculture is very important, especially for the populated nation. You know, China, we have a 1.4 billion population. So how to feeding this such a big population and to secure that the supply of the food is always the #1 priority for the Chinese government. As far as I understand, every year the first cabinet meeting of the Chinese government is always only one agenda, that is agriculture. So that demonstrates that the agriculture occupies the Chinese first priority of our governance and our government work for the whole year. And I see that also the Pakistani government attaches great importance to the development of the agricultural sector, that not only they provide the most employment for your population, they also contribute almost 1/4 of your GDP growth. The cooperation under this, on the agricultural sector that right now, since that because of this MOU or the joint working group on agriculture is established, we are going to streamline that our agricultural cooperation in three different tracks. First, between the government, we right now focus on the technology cooperation between the two governments. We have that National Agricultural Council or that the National Agricultural Commission, and you have the Pakistan National Agricultural Council also. So that this, under the guidance of the two governments, that these two research centers will establish a comprehensive mechanism for example, for the improvement of the seed quality, for improvement of the agricultural machinery, to the improvement of the employment or the output of the different harvests or crops. So this is the technology part, and it will be done by the two governments, and the resources will be coming from our grant. That is to, for example, 10 agricultural technical center will be established in different localities in Pakistan. And also that we are going to establish a pest control and prevention, because these days we had the challenge of the locusts, a pest control laboratory and center in Karachi. And also that, for example, some seed development center for the major crops in Pakistan were also established, for example, in Multan, in Faisalabad, and in other parts of Pakistan. So this is the government-driven. First is focused on the technology. Second is the we call the capacity building of the. For example, we have started a big scale of the scholarships on agriculture sector for the Pakistani young students. We are offering almost more than 50 training programs connected with the agriculture sector. But right now, because of the COVID-19 problem, we could not have this physical exchange. So right now we are exploring this online or video training for the experts. And also we are going to establish or empower some of the agricultural vocational training, or that is provide the equipment, provide the utilities for the farmers, for the rural residents, for them to grasp or understand these advanced technologies or materials. The third track or the third area of our cooperation we are exploring is that in the commercial sector. In China, you know that we have these commercial companies who are importing a lot of agricultural products, dairies, meats, and other agricultural products. Here you have a vast land, maybe with some kind of irrigation improvement, they could be very profitable. So we are encouraging, for example, some commercial to commercial, B2B cooperation between the two private sectors. For example, that we are exploring the possibility of import meat from Pakistan. Because you know China is a big market, and in the meat market we would like to share this with the dairy sector, and also we are exploring. So we have recommended some of the major commercial companies on agriculture to collaborate with your major companies, and they will have their joint ventures. But the purpose is that to increase the value, to add the value for your agricultural products, and we will purchase and import from Pakistan to increase our trade with Pakistan. So this is what right now we are designing and we are implementing under the CPEC agricultural sector.
See, my next question is also about another MOU, the MOU on science and technology. It's very important, especially in the context of fourth industrial revolution. So like 5G, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, robotic, etc. So Excellency, would you share your thoughts how this MOU will help Pakistan to benefit from the fourth industrial revolution?
Yes, I think you also touched on a very important area. That in fact since 1980s, almost for the past 40 years, that our two governments, Chinese and the Pakistani government, we did have a mechanism we call the Joint Commission on Science and Technology Cooperation. But it was combined with the Joint Economic and Trade Cooperation. So that it was, I think, more or less not so outstanding in the cooperation. So also during this visit by the Honorable President of Pakistan to China in March, we have another MOU signed, and it is on science and technology. And by separate all that this science and technology sector from other sectors cooperation, we think that both sides have attached more importance to the cooperation. You have mentioned the 5G, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing. These are, I think, the leading technologies for this century or for this era. In this sector, right now, we only engage mostly is on the expertise exchanges. Right now, I think you have the largest number of the students and also the masters and the doctors in the Chinese research and education institutions for the, we call the digital revolution or the digital industries. But more importantly, right now, under the cooperation under the CPEC framework, we are focused on the applied technologies. In China, for example, we have a long-term plan. We call the rural technology development plan. That is that we go to the villages and go to the rural areas to provide applied, very simple technology, but can improve, for example, the production, the harvest, the crop increase or whatever. We would like to recommend and also copy some of the technologies to the rural areas. Second is through this commercial cooperation. You know that right now some leading companies in China, they are engaging that the leading technologies in the digital areas. So we are very much encouraging that, like the leading companies, like the Alibaba, like the Tencent, like this Huawei, they are the leading company in different sectors. We are also encouraging them that to have more this business collaboration with their counterparts in Pakistan. And through this cooperation, this technology could be shared and shifted. This kind of experience could be shared and shifted. So this is thirdly is that we are going to have also, like the agricultural sector, the two governments are nominating several state-of-the-art laboratories cooperation. For example, for this artificial intelligence. That is because we have some kind of facilities and we invite your experts to go to China. For example, we under the CPEC, we are also going to have cooperation on the sector of the space research and development. Satellite center or a joint center, development center will also be established under the CPEC. So that's the science and technology, because it covers a lot of areas, but we are engaging and we are trying to utilize all the resources to have more, both sets. One is for research, second is for application. So this is the new area with a lot of potential for our CPEC cooperation.
नाज़रीन, एक मुख्तसर सी ब्रेक लेते हैं, वापस आएंगे तो गुफ्तगू का सिलसिला यहीं से आगे बढ़ाएंगे। हमारे साथ रहिए।